let's go back to 2015 with the user data manifesto.
Yes.
You were already warning about a danger few other people saw at the moment. The risk for data privacy, cloud, and office software.
Yes.
What were the signals do you already saw before others, and while the market was ignoring them till today?
Yeah, so of course I didn't predict the current geopolitical problems. I didn't predict Trump and other things, but for me it was clear that if we move into a future where 5 companies know all the data of everybody on the planet, all the communication of everybody on the planet, that this is not a healthy future. This is the road to some dystopia. So I thought we need something which is a bit more decentralized, more in the control of the users and the organizations, more open source, more flexible, and so on. So I didn't, of course, predict the current problems, but I don't want to live in a future where like big tech owns all our digital life. So that was the motivation.
And if you had to start a new company today from scratch, where do you see the new dangers or things that people are not already seeing in this year? And if you have to write today a new manifesto on about what you will write this new manifesto?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really passionate about the IT and the importance of IT for our world. I mean, in a long time, 20 years ago, IT was just some infrastructure, right? Who cares? But now it's really fundamental to our society, to our life, to our economy, to our democracy, to everything. So I really think like IT, cloud service, communication, social network, sharing, and so on. This is like super important for our world. And I think we should make sure that we have just a fair and good and transparent infrastructure. So in a way, I would probably do something very similar as I have at the moment. Of course, the world is a little bit different, so maybe for the product a little bit different, but something really European, open source, privacy conscious. I think this is something there's a huge opportunity at the moment. Sometimes I'm surprised that there are not more companies like Nextcloud, because I just see there's a huge opportunity. There should be a lot more European startups focusing on that space.
Let's talk about business a little more concrete. If a company with, we can imagine 5,000 PC, 5,000 employees, want to today to go from Microsoft to Nextcloud, how does the process will last, and which will be the problems or the things an entrepreneur or a CEO must focus on during this transition?
Yeah. So unfortunately, at the moment, the transition takes a while, because usually what our customers do is first test the software. They first want to do a proof of concept with Nextcloud. Then they usually migrate like one department or one sub part of the organization, like in a pilot. And then there's the migration phase, but then there's also other stuff like training of the users, making sure that the change management is there, that people are not surprised that there's a new solution and so on. So it's a bit of a longer process, but we are working very hard to make it like just easy and more straightforward. So actually, before this interview, I had a discussion with my colleagues from the Nextcloud management, and we are trying to find a one-click migration solution in the future.
So your yes. So your target is to create a one-click solution that can. So it's to be very easy for a company to start from Microsoft, a fully Microsoft environment, and go to Nextcloud.
Exactly.
It's your dream.
That's the dream. Well, but it's not impossible. I mean, we will work on that. So it could be that, I don't know, on Friday you decide, hey, I want to test this Nextcloud thing. Heard so many good things about it, but not sure if it's actually working. Then you just like rent the Nextcloud instance from one of the European service providers that we're working with. And then you click this migrate button, and then you wait over the weekend. and then on Monday everything's migrated over, all the emails
over the weekend.
Over the weekend, exactly, all the chats, the emails, the files, SharePoint, everything. And then on Monday you can compare it. You're just like, okay, I can work here, I can work here, and then you can really see, okay, it's actually working great. People like it, so let's do it.
Today, how many months are necessary to do this transition?
It really depends on the organization. I mean, we have customers who can do it just in a month. But to be honest, we also have some public administration organizations, government in Europe, and they are sometimes a little bit more slower. And we also have projects where it takes a year. But this is not really because of the technology. It's really like to change the processes, to convince the people, to make to look into corner cases. It's big organization is always a big process.
Talking about sovereignty, for 20 years, Europe talked about this theme, but today the American prescaler have, I think, more than 70% of the cloud. What we are doing wrong is too much regulation, lack of industrial culture, no startups, which is our problem doing cloud infrastructure.
Yeah. These are the reasons that are always brought up in the discussions, like here at the event, at the panels. These are the things that people are using, saying, we don't have enough venture capital, we don't have enough startups, we don't have enough this and that. My opinion, these are just excuses. I think we have everything that's needed. The technology is there, the companies are there, the know-how is there. I think what's needed is a little bit of courage, I would say, and just do it.
We are too conservative.
Yeah, we're too conservative, we're too careful, we don't believe in ourselves. We think, we're only Europe. I mean, what can we do? We depend on the US. That's how it is. No, it's not how it is. we can be innovative. We can do something. We can move forward. And I mean, the money is there, the know-how is there, technology is there. You just need the courage, I think.
Lack the courage.
Yes.
And in Europe, we have so many rules. We have the Digital Market Act, the EI Act, and in your opinion, they are actually working in protecting our environment, or are just bureaucracy?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, everybody is always hitting on bureaucracy, and I'm also, of course, not a fan of bureaucracy. No one likes bureaucracy, but I also don't think it's the biggest problem, to be honest. It's like, I don't know, I was at 3 different events this week. I was first at a business, the main business forum in Berlin on Tuesday, and then yesterday event here in Brussels for Politico, and of course here the Brussels Economic Forum. And I don't know, everybody is always blaming the bureaucracy and that everything is too complicated. Yes, I agree, it should be easier, but this is not the problem. I don't think this is the problem. I mean, European companies can do something. Yes, we need to also handle bureaucracy, but that's not really what's holding us back.
So we can face the American giant with our technology, with our engineer, with our money too.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't have the guts sometimes to do it. I mean, the European Commission can just decide tomorrow that, hey, we will only buy European open source solution for critical infrastructure from now on going forward. And this is not crazy. I mean, this is exactly what the US is doing, it's exactly what China is doing, it's exactly what Russia is doing. Everybody's doing it, just not us, because we are trying to be like open, friendly, and we cannot really be so hard to our American friends. And but I don't know. I mean, we also need to think about European values, European interests, the European future, and we just need to decide it and do it.
Now the big challenge is about artificial intelligence. Probably 10 years ago was about data and the office, but in Europe we don't have a real artificial intelligence environment. Do you think that this could lead to a new Strait of Hormuz of technology in which the US or China can pressure Europe, saying we don't we are not going to give you the technology or the chip for artificial intelligence.
Right.
We are living in this new danger.
Yeah. There are always things you cannot produce locally. I mean, it's true. I mean, there's Mistral in France, which is really good. But it's true, the really foundation AI models, we don't really have a lot of them in Europe at the moment. But there are also other things. We also don't do production of chips at the moment. We don't have rare earth materials. There are a lot of things that we cannot produce locally. But it doesn't mean that we need to give up. I mean, I agree that AI is important. It's a problem that we are not on the forefront of the AI revolution at the moment in Europe, but this can be changed. And also, you don't need to be the expert in everything, right? I mean, it's totally fine to have a global economy where you just like trade things, right? I mean, maybe one continent is good with one thing, we are good with some else, and then we just do business together. But the problem is that we don't really have a lot in AI. Is like so overblown at the moment. A lot of people think that, oh, we're basically lost. There's nothing we can do. Which basically we just can. The only thing we can do is to give up, and that's just like no, that's crazy. I mean, there's a chance to catch up with AI, and until then, we can be champions in other areas. That's not the problem.
And in which areas we can be champion?
I mean, first of all, I think Europe is one of the few places left in the world where we really have a real open liberal democracy, which has a lot of benefits, a lot of strengths. I mean, not only from a humanity perspective, obviously, but also from a just economic perspective. I mean, an open liberal market is a good thing. I mean, nowadays, if you travel to the US, you need to give them access to your phone and they will check your social media account, right? I mean, this is like, I don't know, it's a bit crazy. So we have some benefits in Europe that we don't have this, that we are like open and welcoming to everybody. And from a business perspective, I mean, we're still leading in like manufacturing of complex machines, for example. This is something where we're still leading. Um, there's a lot of things in like media perspective. I think we have a very good educational system. I'm not an expert in every industry, but clearly we are the biggest market in the world at the moment, which is also a factor that can be leveraged. So I think we should think about our strengths and doubling down on that and grow from there. I think we are just too pessimistic at the moment.
And in your experience, do you see some countries in Europe that are leading this kind of transformation? I don't know if Germany or France or other countries that are going faster than other in this transformation with at the center the European values.
Yeah. Again, I don't have a full overview. I mean, I'm really involved in the on-premise open source software area. This is what we do, like digital sovereign open source solutions. And in this space, there are actually a lot of companies active there in Europe. I mean, for example, we are actually working together with companies like Collabra from the UK or Open Project from Germany, XVK from France, like again, Open Exchange Univention also from Germany. Like there are lots of like startups and companies in the world and in Europe like working in this sector, and they're growing and new ones are showing up and they're collaborating. So I think I'm very optimistic there. I mean, of course, people say, well, we're all together still smaller than Microsoft and Google, which is true, but it's not all about size of the company, because we in Europe are always like strong with having this big open ecosystem of lots of organizations in different countries, different regions working together. Like Europe is not, there's no like center of Europe, right? We don't have a Silicon Valley here in Europe, right? And I think we don't have to, because our strength is actually diversity that we have here to work together.
but also competition neck to neck normally bring to great result. Europe is far more fragmented and deploying technology. This is a problem or an opportunity to drive different kind of technologies?
I mean, it's both. Of course, some people have a point when they say, yeah, Europe is not really one market, like the US is one market, China is one market, Europe only half, because there's still so many differences between the countries, and I agree. For example, we have people in 30 countries, employees in 30 countries all over the world. And I can say it's sometimes a bit of a pain to hire people in different countries because the laws are so different, even in Europe, right? You assume that it's like just easy to hire someone in Spain, in Italy, France, Netherlands, Germany, but the laws are really different. So this can be easier. On the other hand, we are a very international and diverse company, as I said, in 30 countries, because we like the diversity. We think that the diversity can be like a problem from an administrative perspective, but from an input into the product, to have a real innovative product that works for everybody in the world, to have a lot of creativity there, diversity is a plus. So we did this remote work culture even before COVID as a company strategy. So I'm a big fan of working with people from all over the world every day. I think this leads to good results.